For anyone who doesn't already know, I'm here with former WBC light heavyweight champion Donny Lalonde. Just had a nice bit of lunch in Milan, Italy. How are you doing today, Donny?
Great, thank you. Really great to spend some time with you.
It was, yeah. I'm really grateful we got this chance. It was completely by coincidence that you happened to be here. We come here looking for Marvin Hagler because Jonathan had this harebrained scheme that we just find him, but the trip isn't over. At least we found you, But I'm wondering actually, Donny, talking and just bumping into you there. You're an urbane, good-looking man in his 50s. Not everybody must automatically know you're a boxer. Not everybody's going to recognise you. Do you ever get somebody talk to you in a bar or in a situation where they start talking about boxing, maybe quite with a big loud opinion about it without realising who they're talking to? Does that happen?
Oh yeah. I mean, it used to happen more, well, of course, when I was younger. And I've only been actually in a few fights in my life, and then that's because they thought, you can't be a boxer. You're just saying that, and type thing.
Because you don't have the classic countenance or face, supposedly, of a boxer.
Right, yeah. People don't understand that boxers come in many different shapes and sizes, right? And faces, yeah. But anyway, yeah, no. Boxing's a very broadly exposed sport. And anywhere I go in the world, like almost any country, I still have people all the time recognize me. It shocks me.
Yeah.
I see pictures of myself when I was younger. I wouldn't recognize me now.
No, because you don't have those trademark golden locks that were very much part of your style and profile.
Right. And I'm 60, not 20.
Yeah.
So there's a difference.
But you have aged well, of course.
Thank you. I don't feel that way when I look at pictures, but anyway. Boxing's a very high exposure sport. The Leonard fight obviously was very high exposure worldwide, and many people have great memories of that fight. So it's interesting, but it does still happen.
We were talking at the Leonard fight. I mean, we did do a very well received live Facebook thing a few weeks ago where we talked about it. But you were saying to me earlier today, even the training you did and the preparation for the Leonard fight was absolutely crazy. In no way. Now you're older and wiser, you'd never get one of your guys to train the way you did for Leonard.
Yeah, I mean, there's many different philosophies on training, especially today. So much of it is cross-training and different things, which complement boxing. But personally, I don't believe in it nearly as much, to be done nearly as much as it is on the level it is today. That being said, I overdid it quite a bit. And
sparring 5 days a week, 10 rounds?
10 rounds. I still have videos of all of it. I sparred 400 rounds for that fight.
Who did you spar with for Sugar Ray Leonard?
Donovan Boucher, who's a Canadian.
I remember Donovan Boucher, we called him, but yeah, Boucher, yeah. He was like a welterweight or a light middleweight.
Yes, he was.
Because like Ray, you figured he'd be like Ray.
Frank Minton was always a sparring partner at all of my camps. We were friends also. Very good work. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, and then we had like this Latin guy, and I don't remember his name, but he was also like another Ray, sort of like lookalike.
You tried to get slick guys, black guys, slick guys.
Right, exactly. So but I mean, Scully was one of my toughest sparring partners ever, and he was from a world title fight.
Yeah,
John Scully. We're going to have a rematch one day, Scully.
I was going to think you and John Scully. We were talking about him. He still spars, and he's still remarkably fit for a man of his age. Maybe you and Scully actually could fight in some kind of charity type fair. I mean,
for one round.
Yeah. What you mean? He ain't staying with the Golden Boy.
No, I'm not staying with him.
Oh really? Okay. This is modesty kicking in.
He says I just say that to set him up.
Yeah.
But the reality is he's in a lot better shape than I am.
Okay, that's so amazingly candid.
No, I mean it's true. I mean I'm not going to lie about that.
That could have been a fight even when you were both had it happen. In your primes.
Yeah.
Both light heavyweights at one point.
Yes, I'm happy it didn't because he was so tenacious. This guy. I boxed Marvin Johnson was also another very tenacious sparring in the gym. He would knock people out like literally almost every day. Somebody he would knock out.
Was Marvin Johnson one of those guys who just couldn't spar within himself?
He believed that when you get in a boxing ring, you fight to the death. Like you fight till it's over. And he tried to knock people out every minute of every round. So him and I had great sparring sessions. He never knocked me out. I never knocked him out. But we, had some very...
Not for one to try it.
Right. And we had some great sparring sessions. I stayed there for 2 years in Indianapolis. I went there because he had a reputation of being one of the toughest guys in the gym. Yeah. So that's why I went there. I didn't have an amateur career really, so I had to learn it in the gyms. So that's why when I fought Ray, people were so surprised how well I fought against him because they didn't realize all the rounds I spent in the gym with guys like Marvin Johnson. I ran Barkley, him and I sparred 1,000,000 rounds. Many great fighters. I even boxed Lennox Lewis one day. It was crazy.
Spar with Lennox Lewis?
Yeah, because I needed sparring for my Canadian title defense. And I phoned him one day because when we started together, he was 12, I was 17. He was a kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize he was number one in the world as an amateur because I didn't follow amateur boxing. And I phoned him and said, hey, Junior, we called him Junior at the time. Hey, Junior, would you do sparring with me? He goes, oh, yeah, sure, Donny, you sure you want to do this? And I said, he's got this big, deep voice all of a sudden, you know, and I'm like, yeah, why? What do you mean? I said, I hear you play basketball. Do you still box? He laughed, oh, yeah, I still box. You sure? Okay, I'll come on down. So he comes down and looks at me, kind of did the old looking down at me.
Yeah.
And he goes, you still want to box? And I said, I have to box. I've got a fight in a week, a 12-round title fight. So we boxed. What I remember about it most is he threw a jab and I got under it and I hit him to the body with the right hand and my hand just ricocheted off his body like I hit concrete, Yeah. And I thought, damn, this guy's... And then, of course, I remember how hard he hit. But, I boxed everybody. I boxed like anybody. I would go gym to gym in the States, inner cities. Police would pull me over. Son, you're in the wrong part of town. You sure you want to be here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for a boxing gym.
You spent time at Gleason's gym in New York, right?
Yes.
I Front Street.
A few years. No, when I boxed at Gleason's, originally it was on 32nd Avenue, right by the Garden.
Okay,
that's where it was forever.
Was that where Gleason's gym was before it moved to...
Right.
It's moved again now, but it was 78 Front Street for many years.
Right.
That's where I boxed there.
Okay.
And then it's moved to Water Street, but it was by the Garden when you started.
Right, and I boxed there against many great fighters. With Ted, that's when I was with Teddy Atlas.
Was Teddy a good coach in other ways, except for the kind of undying enmity and bitterness and his self-confessed attempt to shoot you, or he didn't attempt to shoot you, he contemplated shooting you.
He wanted to shoot me, but he said I wasn't home.
Okay.
What he didn't know is I had moved from there.
Okay, so you
I didn't even live there anymore.
Yesterday, albeit with a different agenda.
Yeah, he said I called and his girlfriend answered, said he wasn't home, which is a bold-faced lie, because I didn't even live there.
So you wouldn't have left a girlfriend. You might have left like the odd pair of shoes, but you don't leave a girlfriend. You weren't careless like that. Sure.
It was Dave Wolf's, my manager's apartment, and I know who was living there, a girl named Beverly at the time, who was like an assistant to Dave.
You probably just thought it was your girlfriend.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, no, Teddy taught me some stuff that I still teach people. Whenever I teach anybody anything, I learn stuff from Teddy for sure. But he thinks like he's the reason that I had any success in my life. I fought for...
And he didn't get the just rewards.
Right.
All that knowledge in you.
Right.
At the time.
But I had fought... At that point, by the time I won the world title, which is what he's complaining about, they didn't get the Leonard purse. That was 2 years after he and I worked together. Yeah. You don't owe your trainer from 2 years ago money from your fight. And him and I worked together 10 months or 11 months out of a 23-year career. And he thinks the only thing I know is what he taught me. So, a little bit of disassociation.
Have you seen him in recent years at all?
We saw each other at the Foreman Moore fight.
Yeah,
and I walked up to him because I had no idea he had this against me.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, Teddy," and I was from behind. And I kind of gave him a hug. Hey, how you doing? It's so good to see you. Congratulations! I was so proud of him and happy for him.
Yeah,
when
he was with Moore.
He was 20-some odd years old when I was with him. He'd never done anything. He'd been a kind of like a failed fighter because he had a bad back or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was just happy for him. And he turns around. He just started screaming, screaming like a complete maniac.
Yeah.
There was media all around, all kinds of fighters, everybody. And I'm like, wow, Teddy, what the heck? What is this all about? I had no idea. But anyway, years later, I was sitting, a couple years ago, I was sitting at a Ring 8 fundraising dinner in New York.
Yeah.
And so I was one of the ones on the podium, and an actor, friend of his, was sitting beside me. And he goes, Donny, I have to admit to you, first of all, I'm with Teddy Atlas, is one of his best friends. Yeah. He goes, so when I'm talking to you, just I want you to know that. And I said, okay, great. I said, I'm sorry for you, but okay, whatever, And he goes, what I'm curious about is, like, what's your take on what happened between you? And I said, I have no idea what happened. Why? What do you know? And he goes, well, he tells me the real reason he's upset at you is because Dave Wolf, your manager, had Donny Poole, who Teddy also trained. Yeah. And Dave and Donny had a falling out, and it went to court, and Teddy despises you because you testified against supporting Dave in spite of the fact he was very wrong and what he did to Donny. Okay. And I said, well, that's a very interesting story, but I never went to court.
Yeah.
I knew that there was a dispute between them
didn't get involved.
because they broke up just before we got together, Dave and I. And Dave asked me about it. Would I be interested to help him in the court testimony? And I said, Dave, I had no idea who Donny is. I don't know anything about your relationship. Please don't put me in the middle of that. I don't want anything to do with it. And that was the only conversation him and I ever had about Donny Poole. And Teddy thought, for some reason, that I did something. I testified in court against him and Donny Poole, which was just totally in his mind.
Fiction,
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I know what I can do about that.
indeed. We were talking about money as well. You were saying it's when people say how do fighters end up broke. You were saying like you got $3 million for fighting Sugar Ray Leonard.
I got 5.5. I ended up netting about half that. Yeah.
Okay, netting about half of that, which is it's like having a lot of money, like 20 million today or something. But you said it's a lot more complex trying to hold money, especially when people know you've got it and you're relatively young and you're having to know who to trust and the best way to handle this money. I was just wondering, what was your second biggest payday?
Okay, well, my second biggest payday was $350,000 against Leslie Stewart.
Okay, for the title-winning effort.
Yeah,
He's a good guy too. You know, we met him.
I know. Him and I still speak. I made money in 4 fights.
Yeah.
I fought 47 fights, and 4 of them really is all I made money in.
Yeah.
Winning the title, $80,000, but I owed it to my manager because he had advanced that much money against to help me to fight until then. $350 against Stewart.
Yeah.
5.5 against Ray, and $100,000 against Ches. That's the only fights I really made money in. So people don't understand that you make money one day, but you don't make money every fight. No. I mean, of course, I got like 1,000 or 500 with my first fights, or I got 10,000. 10,000, yeah. Hampshire, I got 8,000. But I mean, again, 8,000, but your manager gets what he gets, and the expenses write off almost all of that. Yeah. I mean, I ended up with, I think I got 2,000 net my manager gave me from that fight. You know, so that, I'm not saying I didn't get any money, but I'm saying you don't even get money to live on 90% of your fights. So when you do make money once in a while, you know, it's a big bonus and you deserve it. But what happens to the money? Well, I mean, first of all, again, you only get half of it. As a manager, trainer, lawyer, tax man, you know, then you get half, then you're taxed. So, you know, let's say you end up with 30-40% of it. And then you're famous worldwide for how much money you made. $6 million. No, I got $2 million. Yeah, you know. So, and then everybody's, you know, of course, in your pocket, and you're not very smart. I have grade 9. I have no way to manage millions of dollars. I had no idea how to do that. So I went into real estate thinking that was a safer thing to do, and you know, as my money manager advised me against doing that because real estate goes up and it goes down, it goes up and it goes down. And so if you're
he said, just leave it with me. I mean, he said, okay, so you're 29 and you want to be a money manager,
right? And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had been, I guess, robbed basically by his money manager. But he thought he was retiring with $60 million. Instead, he ended up being a school teacher just to get by. So I thought, if anybody's going to lose my money, I'm going to do it. You know? So I did it.
Mission accomplished. Huh?
Yeah.
But these
didn't
days,
take long either.
These days, you seem, I can tell. I don't need to be presumptuous. I can tell you're a happy man who's at peace with himself. It would seem, to a great degree.
I mean, ultimately, you know, we get better or we get bitter. And I've chosen to get better. I'm learning every day, just like everybody else. I'm involved with things that I know and like. I've got a wonderful family. I've got millions of friends all over the world, and life is good. I mean, I can't complain about anything. Last night I was at a Bob Dylan concert, hanging out with Bob. How bad does life get? I mean, how good does life get?
And I echo that because I'm hanging out. I've just had lunch with Donny Lalonde, and it's always. I love boxing. I love fighters, you know. But it's always a bit more precious to me to be in this kind of ordinary contact or extraordinary contact with people who were very famous when I was young and a teenager. That is special to me, and you don't know how grateful I am for the fact that you're so personal as you are, and you make yourself available for this kind of thing.
Well,
thank you very much. And we're still going to try and get Marvin Hagler before we all fly back tomorrow.
Come on, Marvin, come on, let's come hang out.
Cheers, Donny. Thank you.
You bet.